Hi, I'm Tommy, and I'm an independent prescriber, and I work with women on GLP-1 medications every single week. Now, here is what I'm seeing that most prescribers miss. A high percentage of women on GLP-1 are losing muscle mass as well as fat. And that sounds like a win, right? Because they're losing weight. But what's actually happening is that your body could be breaking down muscle tissue faster than it's building it. And you may also be becoming deficient in things like iron, magnesium, B vitamins, electrolytes, all at the same time. And nobody is testing for this. Nobody is telling you what you have to do about this. Now, this is my first episode in Optimize Health with Tommy, and we are going to fix that. So let's start with the mechanism, right? How does GLP-1 work? GLP-1 works by suppressing your appetite, and that's not a side effect. That's actually the entire point, right? But here is what the gap opens up. When your appetite is suppressed, your body's nutrients requirements doesn't go down, it actually goes up, and you may need more protein to preserve your muscle. You may need more magnesium because your body burns through it even faster under metabolic stress. Your iron stores as well may decrease because you are eating less food overall. And if you are still menstruating, for example, you are losing iron every single month on top of that. But the standard GP blood testing doesn't catch all of this. Your blood work comes back normal, but you are still feeling exhausted, losing your hair sometimes, or even struggling to lift weights. Now, when it comes to prescriber-led testing, this is what I focus on to ensure people that and help people to do the right test and understand what the gap is and what is actually required. Now, let's start with protein, for example, because this is the most important one ever if you are on the GLP-1 medication. Most women I see are eating between 40 to 50 grams of protein per day when they are on GLP-1. That's because the appetite is suppressed. You're not eating as much as you normally would eat. You're eating less than normal. But the truth is that your body actually needs 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight to preserve muscle. So, for example, a woman that weighs 80 kilograms would need 160 grams of protein every day. I know that sounds a lot, but the key thing is that not to force yourself to eat 160 grams of protein at the same time, but to split it and distribute it between 3 to 4 meals. Don't eat 160 grams of protein in one dinner, but you can split this throughout the day because your muscle needs something we call a leucine. This is an amino acid that triggers protein synthesis, and you need it throughout the day. You need at least a minimum of 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine every single meal. So the key thing is to prioritize protein when you are on the GLP-1 medication. So we can take things like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, protein powder, eggs, things that are not high in volume, but high in protein, so that you can achieve your goal. Sometimes you may need to add supplementation, add things like food supplement, like shakes, protein shakes, because they are really high in protein, like 20 grams or 30 grams of powder in a single meal of your protein shake. You can do that. The goal is not perfection, but to actually preserve as much muscle as possible. You are protecting your muscle. That is the key thing, so that you can have energy and you don't feel too weak whilst you are on the GLP-1 medication. Now, there is a second intervention that changes everything, and it's simpler than you think, right? I'm literally referring to magnesium. See, magnesium deficiency is almost universal when we are talking about GLP-1. And the reason is because you are eating less food overall. And magnesium is in things like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes. And if your appetite is suppressed, you're definitely eating less, eating fewer of all of this, right? So on top of that, magnesium will decrease and metabolic stress in your body decreases it as well. So you are burning it faster than usual. Now, here's what magnesium deficiency looks like. You're feeling nausea, constipation, muscle cramps, headaches, and a weird kind of fatigue that doesn't go even if you sleep so much. And most people think that these are side effects that you have to live with when you are on GLP-1 medication. But the truth is that you may be deficient in a magnesium. So you may want to consider supplementation in this case, taking magnesium glycinate once or twice a day. Now, magnesium, when you do blood tests, sometimes you may not, the blood test might come back and say that it's normal. It's because magnesium is really important when we talk about intracellularly because it's within the cells, not necessarily within your blood. And blood test doesn't really catch this. What you need to focus on is how are you feeling whilst you are on GLP-1 medication and how to actually improve your magnesium intake. The key thing is using the right magnesium form. For example, magnesium bisglycinate, that absorbs better than other forms of magnesium. For example, magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate. You want to get magnesium bisglycinate because that is what absorbs better into your bloodstream and you can use that better. Now, beyond protein and magnesium, there's one more thing, and it's the electrolytes. When your appetite is decreased, you're eating less food, your sodium and potassium intake drops even further. And this is really, really important, to be honest, because it's not a standard test that you would do, but you would know the impact on your body. For example, you may be feeling things like lightheadedness when you stand up, fatigue, muscle weakness, and even feeling that your heart is racing for no reason. The fix is very simple. Sometimes you may need to add salt into your food deliberately. Don't be too scared of sodium and even eat potassium rich foods like coconut water, avocado, leafy greens, beans when you can, as much as possible. And this is where I come in as a prescriber to understand what is going on in your body and be able to advise accordingly. We do like a good test panel to test your ferritin, your vitamin D, vitamin B, and even magnesium. Now, the key thing here is that sometimes supplementation is what you actually need when you are on this injection, and you may not be able to find out if you are low in this stuff without actually talking to a prescriber and the prescriber understanding what your symptoms are. So the key, and another thing I want to mention is that a lot of people just take so many supplements without understanding why you are taking supplements. We have to work, and that's what I do as a prescriber, work from your symptoms, what is happening to you, and then doing the relevant tests, and then identifying and prescribing the right supplement. Now, let me give you 3-step framework I use in the clinic. Step 1, to test. We check things like ferritin, iron, vitamin B, folate, vitamin D, your electrolytes. Step 2, we prioritize protein, eating 1.6 to 2 grams of per kilogram of your weight every single day of protein. We spread that between 3 to 4 meals, I would say. Step 3, we support with the right amount of supplementation, like magnesium glycinate is critical. Understanding whether you are low in electrolytes is key as well. It's not really complicated, but you just have to understand that when you are on this injection, to get the best out of it and so that you're not feeling too tired, this is where you need the help from a prescriber. Now, I can offer a full blood test panel, help you interpret the results, and also build a supplementation protocol. I'm going to add a link to the description if you're interested. Definitely do check it out and I'll book a consultation. I'll have a chat with yourself. If you found this very, very useful, there's more on the way, and please do subscribe to the channel. Share this with anyone you know that's on the GLP-1 and that's really struggling. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I will read everything and respond accordingly. Thanks for being here.